Now let's take a moment and let's validate that this is a negative test actually. So I'm going to try two things. I'm going to try to SSH into my private web server, and I'm also going to try and access that web server via the internet. So remember before, this is the public web server IP address. Let's come down, get a the private instance, grab that IP address, and try to load that, and nothing should come up. And this is kind of confusing because it's already there, but let me just open a new tab. I'll close the old one. And it's just going to spin, and eventually it'll time out, right? And I'll leave this open and I'll come back to it. Again, remember here normally we don't want to allow the private instance to have a public IP address. But again, I'm just trying to prove a point. The other rule that we had is to allow SSH traffic, but again, only from the public instance. So before we do that, let's try one more negative test to make sure that we cannot get to the private instance via SSH from the open internet. So to do that, the command is very much the same, except I'm going to use the private IP address. See, ending in 165, it sends in 165, and again, this is just going to kind of sit here just as this, just as the port 80 request is. Right, so here we're demonstrating that this private subnet is not accessible via HTTP or SSH from this outside public internet.